Okay, let's see if I can get this to work. Okay. Hopefully this is all working and we are live. I really hope it is. So today a video came out, and a video that got me excited about my cult. Now, if you guys don't know, I've had a little bit of trouble with my Genestealer cult over the past couple of days. Actually, the past couple of months. So one of the things is my Genestealer cult got stolen, which is kind of a butt. Although it was returned, some parts missing, but it was returned. But some of it did go missing, and a lot of my infantry was gone for the longest time. And I almost gave up the Genestealer cult because I couldn't play them for over 6-7 months. And I was really debating whether or not to get rid of them. And I was just like, and it was one of those things where I was kind of bummed out by it. But GW, I gotta give you props. You made me excited about the cult again. And this is, without a doubt, the greatest Genestealer cult video I have ever seen. So Games Workshop has had an interesting relationship with the Genestealer cult. Last edition, 7th edition, they were the second most powerful army, right behind like Taudar and Eldar, which I consider the same army. Genestealer cult would pop up in tournaments with subterranean uprisings and absolutely annihilate your opponent on the Genestealer's turn 1. And they were a nightmare to face. This edition, early on in the edition, they're kind of the pushover. They're the buy round in the tournament. They're the, oh look, they're adorable. Did they take Tyranids? No? Okay. And they just get blown over. Which is a real shame because I really do like the Genestealer cult. I just had some trouble with it. Now, I do have a sizable Genestealer cult aside from the stuff that was stolen, which was then returned. I do have 2 Sentinels, 2 Patriarchs, 2 Magos, 2 Primuses. I have a bunch of heavy weapons for my Imperial Guardsmen, which are all decked up to be actual Genestealers. I have a bunch of, I have 3 Rock Grinders. I have, just a few of the older things. And I have a bunch of Acolyte hybrids. But I got rid of all of my infantry, which was the big problem. I couldn't play the army because I had no troops. So it was kind of a butt. And that all being said, I finally got them back. And I'm toying around with the idea of just me painting them. Because if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see that I'm painting a lot more, which is always fun. Also, this is a stub gun. Isn't it cool? Pew, 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 die heretics. Anyway. So with the new releases, we got to see a lot of cool things coming out for the Genestealer cult. The dirt bikes, for instance, like that was so bizarre and so kind of dumb and cool that I absolutely love it. I could totally see like recreational slight terrorist organizations grabbing dirt bikes, grabbing cars, grabbing the basic equipment, putting weapons on it. I mean, they're probably watching like videos right now of Mad Max and things of that nature, getting inspiration like Waterworld, for instance, and all the 80s gritty stuff, and then looking at modern day activity to get some inspiration for the Genestealer cult. Now, with that all said, we got quite a few things, including the Genestealer cult car, which I have to admit I'm not thrilled about. It looks a bit silly. I'm not gonna lie, it looks kind of silly. Do I want one? Yeah, of course I want one. Will I get it? I'll probably wait on it. The dirt bikes I'm probably gonna order once they drop, but something popped out that just blew me away. We saw this guy a long time ago. It was a 3-armed desperado straight out of Dark Heresy, which, if you guys know, is the RPG games. They have been going through each and every single subtype and making a Genestealer for it, which I absolutely love because in my Dark Heresy games, my acolytes normally fight Genestealers. And by normally, I mean none of them spec'd into stealth and they all died. Anyway, let's take a look at this. So this is Kill Team Arena. Now, you guys know my thoughts on Kill Team. I'm not thrilled about it, but I do like the idea of it. In fact, I use it in my store all the time to introduce players into the game, especially when players come from out of town or really far away, and they don't necessarily have a large gaming area. I describe it as the 2 foot by 2 foot, granted those aren't the right dimensions, but 2 foot by 2 foot gaming table where you just take a base box and play. And it's really good for introduction into the game. And then if you don't like the army, it's one box, it's $35. It's kind of a whatever. It's kind of like getting into Magic the Gathering, buying a starter deck and buying some boosters, getting into that deck, and then realizing, this deck sucks. And then you move on to a different deck and do the same thing. You can constantly test the waters with Kill Team, and it is a great way to introduce people into the game. And it's one of the primary ways we do it at Games of Plunder. Aside from Learn to Play days where I teach people how to play 8th edition Warhammer 40k. Now, let's take a look at the Kill Team box itself. Arena. Looks like it has a bunch of terrain and a gaming board. Now, you guys know that I am fanatic about gaming boards. I love all types of gaming boards. And I absolutely love them. So it doesn't come with any walls, which for some reason GW hates walls and they want you to buy Zone Mortalis, which this can be used as a Zone Mortalis board for Horus Heresy. Or you can actually get into Zone Mortalis in 8th edition and actually play games that way, if you get a few of these boards, which I highly suggest. That all being said, the board itself comes with some terrain, comes with some minis, and looks pretty good. I love all the Kill Team stuff. Like, I bought the boxes for Kill Team. I just haven't really played Kill Team, mostly because I'm kind of meh about it. I don't like small-scale skirmish games set in 40k or Necromunda. I like playing 40k in large armies. Like, if I could, my base games would be 3,000 points because I like fielding a lot on the battlefield. So let's move on. We have one video here. A little loud. I apologize. I absolutely love the music, by the way. Like, this is some proper headbanging music. I'm sorry, I love this. So this is just an introduction into Kill Team. And I gotta say, some of the terrain that they give you in this box is amazing. Like, the terrain, I really like it for terrain. I really like small showpieces to actually put on my terrain tables. Now, blah, 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 Kill Team. Okay? More Kill Team stuff. Comes with some terrain. This piece right here over in the corner actually comes from the one box that I'm trying to remember. The pipes over in the corner comes from the repair station for the Imperial Knight, which I bought like 3 boxes of those just to get the terrain for it. It comes with some of these storage boxes and some barrels and whatever, but what I'm really impressed by is actually the mat itself. I want like 8 of these mats just so I can lay them out and play Zone Mortalis. Now, this is what I wanted to show you. This is the greatest video for Genestealer Cult, and this is what sparked my interest in them once again. And I was just like, oh, no, GW, stop. I didn't want to buy another army. All right, fine, you convinced me. So, let's take a look. It's Western, so I absolutely love it. Look at him, he's so cool. So you got the Desperado versus Robotnik. Absolutely love the idea. Look at how cool that mini looks. I'm sorry, That Scott, that Genestealer cult, the Desperado right there is amazing. Okay, I want that. I absolutely want that. I think it is absolutely amazing. So this is for the Genestealer, the Kill Team expansion called Commanders, and you get the Desperado. Like, the Desperado is so cool. Is he useful? No, probably not. But is he cool? Definitely. Also, look, he's in a corset. And you guys know how I feel about corsets. And he's a Westerner. He's literally a bandit versus the sheriff. I love this. So Dr. Robotnik over here kind of looks like a guy, like, you know that fat Magic player that just, like, farted in the corner of a room and everybody knows it's him, so they all look at him and he's just like, wasn't me. That's what he looks like. I'm sorry, I don't like that model. Okay, we also got an expansion to the game as well, which does include some terrain. I really like the Kill Team terrain. I'm not going to lie. I really, really, really want terrain, and I absolutely love terrain. I'm a terrain whore. I love that crap. I love, like, in my opinion, I have talked about my terrain table that I'm working on a little bit, mostly because it's very expensive and I'm looking to get a good chunk of it 3D printed, but I want to get most of it from Games Workshop. That being said, I fully want a gigantic terrain table. Like, I'm talking 3 layers high, where you can have 2 different battles going on that don't interfere with each other. So I want the bottom floor to be like the underhive. So you have all of this stuff all around, like dirty and disgusting, and that's where your tanks are fighting. Okay, they're doing ground-based assaults. And then the next floor up, you have like your dreadnoughts, your walkers, actually getting through the tight alleyways and dealing some serious damage to your opponent. And then up top, you have the aircrafts actually fighting it out while they're... and they cannot interfere with the ground-based combat because they can't see them. And I love the idea of artillery being called in, and then the general's going like this, we need to get this to a position where it can fire. So you need to actually get through the layers to actually do an ordnance fire at something. And I really, really, really like that idea. I love crowded terrain tables. I love terrain tables where it's really hard to maneuver a tank through, where a tactical squad actually has an advantage, where, you know, you actually move around and have to think about your movements based on your opponent instead of 8 pieces of terrain on the table or 9 pieces of terrain on the table, where you have these 2 gun alleys. But at the same time, I would incorporate some straight lines across where you can draw a line of fire, as well as a split in the middle so that there is areas where it's heavily crowded, but there is also areas for tanks to move through and actually deal the damage they need to deal. And those types of terrain tables are ideal for Genestealer Cult because they need to get in there and deal the damage that they want to deal as quickly as possible. They also want to disappear as quickly as possible, so getting into shadows and hiding is one of their primary objectives. So it's hit, smack, run. And then they have to keep doing that. They have to keep hit and run techniques. They just have to keep going at it. Now, that all being said, I really want this Desperado. Like, I've seen the new leaders for the Genestealer Cult. The female Magos. Absolutely love her. I think she looks amazing. The new car actually has a woman sticking out of it. I thought that was amazing. I'm like, holy crap, there's actually women in this army. Who would have guessed? GW actually cares about women. Wow. Some female representation. You know, not too much to ask for. That being said, I'm not asking for female Space Marines. I want female characters, not Space Marines. Let's leave those to the all-boy club of super masculinity and definitely not homosexual in any way, shape, or form. Anyway, jokes aside, if you guys have been asking questions along the side of this chat, Nooble is probably going to grab them right now. Nooble is one of my mods, and he is one of my closest friends. Nooble, are you there?
Yep, I have only 2 questions, actually. So, I'm going to go ahead and read them out?
Yeah, go ahead.
Why won't GW do any boards like GamerMat? I mean, with their rights to all things 40K, they could have some amazing boards, and with that material, you can store and use them all easily.
So game mats are made. The problem is they're already distributed. If Games Workshop was to do them, they'd be like $100 to $200 each. Mostly because they would have to put them in all of their stores. They'd have to make a new distributor for it. They'd have to do... There's a lot more to do than just, you know, that kind of stuff. They do make gaming boards, but they're kind of really big and really expensive, and they're mostly meant to just show in the store and not really sell. I know that's weird to say, but they do sell the big plastic tiles, which arguably are not the best, and the game mats are already out there, and GW doesn't seem to mind. Like, other companies picking up the slack that GW doesn't do is perfectly fine. So I don't think they ever need to do it. It's just something that's already there. Okay, next question.
Question: Is it GW original music for the trailer, or did they rip it from somewhere?
I wish I knew, but unfortunately GW doesn't like to credit things too much. So, yeah.
And then, next question then?
Yeah, go ahead.
For your table, are you going modular or hard build?
It is going to be all modular, but the modular pieces are going to be pretty big. So they're going to be hard set in certain areas, but it will be modular. If that makes sense. Like, it's going to be 1 foot by 1 foot display pieces that you set everywhere and then set a road on top of.
Next question then?
Yep.
What is the largest game you have ever played, and what army did you play it with?
Largest game I ever played was 40,000 points. It was me versus one of my buddies. I had a teammate who was playing my armies. This was back when I had a ton of Marines that were badly painted, and before I split my Marines in half, and then now I split them into thirds because I want to separate them all. I can get them all painted. It was back in 6th edition. My buddy brought a manta that he made himself, and I brought 2 Thunderhawks that were papercraft. We got them offline. You just fold some paper and make it. And I brought my Warhound and a bunch of other things, and the game took an entire weekend, and it was so much fun. We used an 8-foot by 4-foot table for it, and it was insane. The opponent that I was fighting was playing Tau and Tyranids versus Imperium is the best way of describing it, because I had Space Marines, I had Imperial Guard, and I had Titans. This was actually back before I had Sisters of Battle. Okay, next question.
What 7 factions would make up a Wild West? What 7 factions would make up a Wild West Magnificent 7?
7 factions for Magnificent 7? Honestly, I would just do Genestealer Cult for it. Or AdMech. They fit the bill perfectly. Like, especially being that they're not hiding that AdMech are supposed to be the steampunk army. And steampunk is very Wild West fashion. So it's kind of really cool that they're just blatantly saying it now. And then the Genestealer Cult is supposed to be the desperados and outlaws and things like that. And I really like that idea. Because to me, that's really, really cool. Like, I love the idea that they're super religious and things of that nature. Or they're super, they're like sacrificing the planet to their gods to come and devour it. But I also like the idea that they're just a bunch of bandits just coming in to wreck something. And yeah, I love that idea. I'm sorry. I want to see an entire Genestealer Cult army with cowboy hats now, is all I'm saying.
Second question. Okay. How many points is your ideal table?
3,000. Or at least 2,500. Because 2,000, you have to cut things from your list, but at 2,500, you get a good balance.
And then, what's Valhalla?
What's Valhalla like? Amazing. Miranda puts on Valhalla down in Utah, and it is probably the coolest event that I've ever gone to. Like, I am booking Valhalla before I'm booking any of the big conventions that I go to, which the big conventions that I go to include Adepticon. Going to DragonCon this year. I'm going to Anime Next if I can. I'm going to Genericon, and I'm going to a few more other things, but Valhalla is definitely on my list. In fact, what I really want to do is I want to try to get a bunch of my fans to actually go to Valhalla and actually share a cabin together to try to get group deals and everything. This way I can try to save you guys money so you can go to Valhalla as well. Valhalla is a amazing location. I don't know how to properly describe this without saying amazing. A bunch of YouTubers show up, a bunch of people show up, and it's all passion for the hobby. There's really no fighting whatsoever. There is drinks, there is gaming, there is amazement, there is fun to be had. You actually get to meet the people and really engage with them and play some games that you never get to play. Like, we had Titanicus being played, we had the Fallout game being played, plenty of Warhammer 40k. We had War Machine and Hordes, we had a swimming pool, we have a jacuzzi there. We have drinks, and drinks are awesome. Happy Time Go-Go Juice to spare. It was amazing. Pretty cold, but well worth it. Also, if you haven't seen my vlog about Valhalla, I highly suggest it. We got to see moose. It was awesome. Me and Miranda hung out for a good chunk of Valhalla, and it was just the most fun ever. Yeah, so that's Valhalla. It's amazing. Go to it. Pew, 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 pew.
Will Vicky go to Valhalla this year?
Yes, he will. I'm dragging his ass there.
Specifically his...
Just by his butt cheeks, I am dragging him there. He is going to it. Yeah. Anyway, next question.
Alright, that's actually it.
Nice. Okay, so this is going to be a very short video, so I hope you enjoyed this video. And, oh wait, we got one more question. Go ahead.
Question. Was it at Valhalla you got Dave dressing up in your demon costume?
No, that was actually at Adepticon. Yeah. That was actually a lot of fun. I hope that they show up to Adepticon because I want to see them, give them a hug, and play a couple of games against them, maybe. Will Valhalla be covered with Imperial symbols on the outside? No, it's just a log cabin and it's beautiful. Genestealer guards still good? Yes, they are. Get some Punisher tanks, get some mortars in there. Have the time of your life. In fact, what I really want to do for my... yeah, you know what? I will show that. Okay, so what I want to do for my Genestealer Cult army is I want to have quad mortars in the back, just 9 of them, and then the rest of it be Genestealer Cult. Yeah. Anyway, guys, we are going to end this video. It was supposed to be a short video. I really like this trailer. I thought it was amazing. I love the Western theme that they're going for. I need cowboy hats, like 1,000 bazillion of them for my Genestealers now. I think it's going to be hilarious. Anyway, guys, I'm Alexis, the Ego Queen. I love you guys. Bye.